Hi, Robert. I need to know when and how to use the expression, it is what it is. And could you give some examples, please? Thanks a lot, Robert. Richard, thank you so much for your question. And I can do both of those things for you. When we say this, we are trying to give someone a little bit of comfort in a way by offering them a different perspective on something that might be upsetting them or annoying them. We might even say it to ourselves to do the same thing, to change our perspective about something that's upsetting us, making us sad, making us angry, something that's affecting us negatively. Let's say I'm driving and I get a flat tire, and I also realize that my phone is dead. So my phone has run out of batteries, I have a flat tire, I'm stuck out in the middle of the road, and then it starts raining. Anyone would be upset by this, because what am I gonna do, right? I'm going to have to somehow figure out what to do in the rain without a phone. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I don't have a spare tire, right? So I might get very upset, but then I might say to myself, it is what it is. That means that this thing has happened, nothing's gonna change it, we can't go back through time, it is what it is. It's bad, that's true, but our reaction is not going to, a bad reaction, an upset reaction, a sad reaction is not going to make things better. So let's just accept that it is what it is and try to fix it with whatever strength we have. And if you've got an example of when we could use it is what it is, I'd love for you to write that in the chat as well. See if you understand. And if it seems like you're still not getting it, I'll chime in and I will try to give you a deeper explanation, or at least some feedback on what you wrote. In this video, I'm going to teach you 4 useful phrasal verbs that start with the word work. And at the end of the video, I'm going to quiz you to see how much you remember. Let's get started with the first phrasal verb, which is work on. We work on things that need to be completed. These can be school projects, work projects, creative projects, or even your long-term goals. At this very moment, I am working on this YouTube video. This means I'm making progress. I'm getting closer to finishing. Once we complete a project or goal, we stop working on it because it's done. Now I'm working on a new song. Now I'm working on my fitness. I'm washing the dishes because I'm working on being a better husband. Your second phrasal verb is work in. When we work something in, we gradually add it or incorporate it. For a while, I was only releasing 1 video per week, but lately I've been trying to work in additional videos. Right now, I'm working the flour into my dough. Whee! I just added some oil, and now I'm working the oil into my dough. Squishy, 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 love. I like to work melodica into a lot of my songs. Your third phrasal verb is work at. When we work at something, we put effort into something. This could be practicing a skill or working on a project or a goal. Very similar to work on. I've been working at improving my thumbnails lately by giving them all the same color scheme. My wife has been working hard at learning Python, a coding language. As I mentioned, this use is really similar to work on, and in a lot of cases we could go with either work on or work at. For me, the difference between them is that work at emphasizes the effort more than work on. And in fact, we can use work at as an exclamation to mean that somebody's working really hard at something or working really hard on something.
Wow, he is really working at it.
If you want to be fluent in English, there are no shortcuts. You really do have to work at it. Our fourth and final phrasal verb is work up. And this one actually has 3 different uses. First, we say that we are working up to a feeling. In some cases, we are trying to get ourselves to feel a certain way. I need to work up the energy to get out of bed.
My friend Darcy is so beautiful. Jeepers. I hope I can work up the courage to tell her how I feel.
In other cases, the feeling occurs because of something that happened to us or because of something that we did. After doing several push-ups, I worked up quite an appetite. Secondly, we can use work up or working up to talk about making progress towards a goal. The end goal is what we are trying to work up to. I said that I was working on my channel by trying to work in more videos per week. I'd like to at least work up to 2 videos per week. 29, 30. Oh, I can only do 30 push-ups right now, but I want to work up to 100. I'm gonna keep doing this faster and faster until I've worked up to 300 beats per minute. Finally, if someone gets worked up, it means they have become anxious or stressed or upset.
Oh, golly gosh darn, dang it!
Easy, kid. It's just a video game. Don't get so worked up.
Ah, gee, Uncle Albert, I guess you're right.
Speaking into this camera used to get me worked up. I would get nervous because I'm not talking to an actual person, but with time I've gotten used to it, so I don't really get as worked up anymore. All right, quiz time. Let's see if you can remember how to use these phrasal verbs. I want you to fill in the blank. 2 acceptable answers would be: watching Robert teaches English is a great way to work on your English, or watching Robert teaches English is a great way to work at your English. Number 2. The answer is: writing with perfect grammar and punctuation isn't easy. You really have to work at it. Number 3. The answer is: I won't be able to run next week, so I'm trying to work in some extra runs this week. All right, number 4. The answer would be: my son is trying to work up the courage to quit his job and become a professional clown. Last one, number 5. And the answer is: driving at night really gets me worked up for some reason. How many of those did you get correct? Let me know in the comments.
Hey, Dad, can you come help me? I can't figure this math problem out.
Sure, son. Let me take a look. Oh dear. I'm sorry, son. I don't know what this is. Math was never really my strong suit. I was always more of a bookworm, see?
Oh no, Dad! Jeepers! What should I do?
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it, son. Why don't you watch that YouTube math teacher you like so much? YouTube math teachers are the best. I'm sure you'll pass your exam with flying colors, my boy.
Okay, I will. I was worried I might bomb for a minute there, but you're right. YouTube teachers are the future.
Just make sure you don't do too well, my boy. We wouldn't want your classmates thinking you're the teacher's pet now, would we?
Oh, Dad!
Yes.
Well, since you can't help me with math, would you mind helping me with this poem? It's Birches by Robert Frost.
Oh, of course, son. I know that one by heart.
Great! I accidentally left my book at school. What's the first line, Dad?
Yes, of course. The first line, when I when I feel birches lean. Oh, no, it's when I hear birches curve. That's not it either. You know what, son? I'm actually drawing a blank.
Oh, Dad. Looks like I might have to pull an all-nighter.
Indeed, son, and with hard work comes hard results.
Or I could just ditch class tomorrow.
What was that?
Nothing, Dad. I'd better hit the books. Thanks for your... Thanks, Dad.
Yes, do that. Good job, boy. I'll see you later.
Figure something out. So let's take a look at how that looked in the video.
Hey, Dad, can you come help me? I can't figure this math problem out.
Sure, son. Let me take a look.
All right, so that first idiom, figure this math problem out. What do you think that means? Go ahead and write in the comments what you think figure something out means, and I'll come back as soon as I see them. Let's move on to the next one.
Sure, son. Let me take a look. Oh dear. I'm sorry, son. I don't know what this is. Math was never really my strong suit. I was always more of a bookworm, see?
Oh, no.
All right, and then we have bookworm. So our second idiom is bookworm. If you think you know what a bookworm is, go ahead and write that in the comments as well. And I'm actually going to go back to the first one because it looks like I'm starting to get some answers here. Oh, but by the way, did you notice math was never really my strong suit? That is actually another idiom.
Bonus idiom.
So, sorry, I couldn't help myself. Yeah, so a strong suit, in case you're wondering, your strong suit is something that you're really good at, or even something that you're the best at. So in school, your strong suit would be the subject that you're most comfortable with. And I would say that my strong suit was certainly English in school. Now let's get back to that first idiom. So we had figure something out, and I do see Carla Cross said solve something, and Diane said to know more about it. Anna Velasquez Rimac, hello Anna. She said understand. Yes, you are all correct. So good job. To figure something out is to solve something, to learn about something, to come to understand something. All right, and then moving on to bookworm, it looks like we do have an answer from Vanessa. She says someone who enjoys reading. Yes, absolutely. So good job, Vanessa. Yeah, a bookworm. That's an interesting one because if you know what a worm is, it's this little bug that moves around like so. And I always imagine the worm sort of crawling in the pages when I think of a bookworm. But for whatever reason, it means someone who enjoys reading very much. Carla Cross says a literate person, a person that is always reading books and learning. I think that is a bookworm. Carla, you're correct. Good job. Let's move on to the next ones here.
Always more of a bookworm, see?
Oh, no, Dad. Jeepers. What should I do?
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it, son. Why don't you watch that YouTube math teacher you like so much? YouTube math teachers are the best. I'm sure you'll pass your exam with flying colors, my boy.
Okay, so this next one is interesting. What do you think it means to pass an exam or to pass a quiz with flying colors? That's right, flying colors. Go ahead and write your guess in the comments, and I'll come back to you once I see them. Next up we have bomb. Let's take a look at that one.
Okay, I will. I was worried I might bomb for a minute there, but you're right. YouTube teachers are the future.
Just make sure you don't do too well, my boy. We wouldn't want your classmates thinking you're the teacher's pet now, would we?
Whoops, I went a little too far. Sorry, I was looking in the comments. El Faisi Yasin, could you please not post links to your video during my video? That is quite rude. So, the son says, okay, I will. I was worried I might bomb for a minute there. So, in this context, what do you think bomb means? You might know the literal meaning of bomb is something that causes a big explosion. Usually not good. So what do you think bomb means? All right, and it looks like we can go back to pass with flying colors. Carla Cross says you'll get good grades easily. That's fairly close, yeah. Easily, yeah. You know what, Carla? Yes. If you pass with flying colors, it means not only did you pass the exam or pass the quiz, but you did really, really well. So if you're familiar with percentages, an A in the United States is typically 90%. So if you pass with an A, that's really good, but it's still not flying colors. If you pass with flying colors, you get 98, 99, even 100%. Maybe you even get some extra points and you get over 100% from extra credit. So that is to pass with flying colors. Vanessa says to bomb is to fail miserably. Yes, that is correct. If you bomb a test, it is the opposite of passing with flying colors. It means you did not pass at all. You did not just do poorly, but you did really poorly. Maybe you got 30% or 20%. So, well done. Thank you, El Fasi. I appreciate it. If you want to send me a message about your YouTube channel, feel free to do that sometime, and I'd be happy to take a look. Let's move on to the next ones. So coming up we have Teacher's Pet. Some of you may know this one already. Teacher's Pet.
But you're right. YouTube teachers are the future.
Just make sure you don't do too well, my boy. We wouldn't want your classmates thinking you're the teacher's pet now, would we?
All right, so there we have it. The teacher's pet. What do you think that means? The father is saying you wouldn't want your classmates thinking you're the teacher's pet now, would we? And I do see that Angeli Montoya said pass the exam easily for flying colors. That was correct. Let me take a minute to go back and see if I missed saying hello to anyone. Oh, Vinyad Kumar Veterati. I have no idea how to say her name. I'm so sorry. Hello, and thank you for being here. Rostam Satif, hello, from Algeria. And Rana from Pakistan, hello, hello, hello. All right, and Carla Cross is already answering. The teacher's pet is the teacher's favorite student. So that could be the definition. That's certainly one interpretation of it. It can be either the teacher's favorite student or the student who is always trying to please the teacher. Maybe the other students think that it's the teacher's favorite student, but it certainly could be the teacher's favorite student. Good job, Carla.
Oh, Dad.
Yes.
Well, since you can't help me with math, would you mind helping me with this poem? It's Birches by Robert Frost.
Well, of course, son. I know that.
I know that one by heart. All right, so the son is now asking if Dad can help with a poem. That's a good poem, by the way, Birches by Robert Frost. I recommend it. But Dad here is saying, oh yes, I can help you. I know it by heart. I know it by heart. If you know this idiom, or if you think you know this idiom from the context of the video, please write your answer in the comments, and I'll come back to you in a moment here. I also want to let you know that after this little lesson, I'm going to be doing some Q&A, which means questions and answers. So at that point, you will be able to ask any questions you have for me, either about the lesson, about my teaching channel, about me. Really anything is on the table. And on the table is also an idiom.
Bonus idiom.
Sorry, couldn't help myself again. Now I'm lost. Oh my goodness. So yeah, if something is on the table, it means it is an option. It is something that you can do. All right, where were we? I think we were on... Oh yes, know that one by heart. And Kimberly says it means he knows him very well. Yes, it means that he knows the poem not just very well. El Faisi Yassin is saying the same thing, knows it very well. Carla Cross, I know that completely without any problem. I know it by memory. Yeah, so good job to Kimberly, El Faisi, and Carla. You are correct. And it actually does mean not only do you know it very well, but you know every word of it. So if you know a poem by heart, you can say the poem aloud without having to read it at all, which is very impressive. Oh yeah, but the reason I was telling you that I'm doing Q&A, questions and answers, after this is that I want you to start thinking about your questions, and I will have you type them shortly before the lesson ends, since we do have a 20 to 30 second delay here. Hello, Aftab Khan from Pakistan. Nice to see you, sir. And hello, Mohammed from Morocco. I'm happy to see you guys. All right, next one. Draw a blank. Draw a blank.
By heart.
Great. I accidentally left my book at school. What's the first line, Dad?
Yes, of course. The first line. When I feel birches lean. Oh no, it's when I hear birches curve. That's not it either. You know what, son? I'm actually drawing a blank.
All right, so the next one is to draw a blank. What do you think draw a blank means based on what you just saw? And if you do know this one, I actually don't want you to write it in the comments. I want to give everyone else a chance to guess based on the video, because I think you can figure it out based on the video. The father said that he knew the poem by heart, and yet when he went to say the poem aloud, he could not think of the words. And now he says he is drawing a blank. What could that mean? Hello, Kimberly from Colombia. Hello, Kimberly. Heba. Hello, Heba. I don't know if I said hello to you yet. I don't know how to say the rest of your name. I'm so sorry. Thank you for calling me a great teacher. You're very sweet. Hello, Natalia Garcia from Argentina. And it looks like you're next to someone there. Hello to that person as well if you're watching in your picture. Vanessa says not remember or to forget what you think you know is to draw a blank. That's fairly close. I would agree with that in part. Carla Cross says inventing the sentence. He is creating it because he forgot it. Yeah, so I feel like both of you are pretty close. that's certainly a way to explain drawing a blank. So when you draw a blank, it is when you think you know something or you do know something, but the moment you go to say it, it's like someone stole it. It's gone. And I don't know if you're familiar with playing cards, but when you pick up a card, when you're playing a game of cards, you draw a card. So the way I always remember it is you go to find something that you know, and then you draw it, and uh-oh, my card is blank. There's nothing there. So that's a good way to remember that one. Felix says the idea isn't clear. Clearly, I think you mean the idea isn't clear. Yeah, the idea certainly isn't clear if you can't remember it. So good job as well, Felix. All right, next up we have pull an all-nighter. Pull an all-nighter. Let's see what happens in the video for this one. Go ahead and write if you think you know what it means.
Oh, Dad. Looks like I might have to pull an all-nighter.
Indeed, son, and with hard work.
All right, yeah, so he says, it looks like I might have to pull an all-nighter. What do you think that means? Oh, Heba says that my pronunciation is very clear. Thank you, Heba. I appreciate that. That's important to me. So yeah, pull an all-nighter. So remember, his dad just drew a blank. He did not know the poem, and he can't help his son with the poem. And now the son is worried that he has to pull an all-nighter. What could that mean, to pull an all-nighter? This one is a little bit more difficult based on the context. So I'm going to go to the next one, and I will see if you guys can come up with the answer, but I'll come right back to it. All right. What?
Son, and with hard work comes hard results.
Or I could just ditch class tomorrow.
Okay. So now the son is saying very quietly, in a way that he does not want his father to hear, that he may just ditch class tomorrow. Ditch class. What do you think ditch class could mean? Go ahead and write the answer, or what you think the answer could be. And it looks like, as I anticipated, some of you are having a little bit of trouble with pulling an all-nighter. And don't feel bad, that is to be expected. This one would require better context in the video to explain, but basically, if you pull an all-nighter, it means you stay up all night doing something. In this video, the son is talking about staying up all night so that he can study because he doesn't know how to do his math problem. His dad couldn't help him with the poem. He's going to have to maybe find the poem on the internet. He has a lot of work to do, so he will have to pull an all-nighter. And you may recognize that beginning pull. So this is actually something that we use in other ways. We will sometimes have other idioms or sayings that start with pull. I'm trying to think of a good example, but I'm drawing a blank right now about about some different things that we can pull. Okay, here's another example. There's another idiom where we say, I'm going to pull a fast one. I'm going to pull a fast one. And this means you're going to do something that no one was expecting, and it's usually not a good thing. So that's one example, but I'm sure if a lot of you look into different idioms that start with pull, you'll see that we actually use pull in a way that almost means do. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to pull whatever. So again, that's pull an all-nighter. And it doesn't just have to apply to studying. If you're having a really fun party and everyone stays up all night, you could actually say, we pulled an all-nighter last night. It was wonderful. So there's another example for you. And I am getting some feedback about ditch class. Mohammed says missed. I think he means missed the class. Yes, if you ditch class, you did miss the class. And if you ditch class, it means that you miss the class on purpose. You don't go to class when you are supposed to. It is a bad thing to do. You will get in trouble. Don't do it. All right, let's see. How many do we have left here? We have one more left. So the last one is going to be hit the books. So write down what you think the answer might be for hit the books. And I also want you to start asking questions for our Q&A because there's a delay and I will start answering your questions when I see them. So if you know the answer for hit the books, go ahead. If you have a question for me, now is the time to write your question.
What was that?
Nothing, Dad. I'd better hit the books. Thanks.
Okay, so he says, nothing, Dad, I'd better hit the books. So he told his dad he's going to pull an all-nighter because he has a lot of studying to do. He has to stay up all night. He has to find the poem Birches by Robert Frost, which I do recommend. And he has to figure out that math problem. He has to watch his favorite YouTube math teacher so he can figure it out. So now he says he had better hit the books. What does that mean, to hit the books? Carla Cross says, hit the books. Read the book to get information, to know. Yeah, I would say so. So hitting the books simply means studying. And although you might study with your books from school, you could say that you're going to hit the books and not actually have any books. As long as you are studying something, we can use the idiom hit the books. And this is actually another one of those idioms that starts with something that we start a lot of idioms with. So we hit many things when we do them or when we go to them. Another example would be hit the gym. I'm going to hit the gym. The gym is where we exercise, where we get strong. And if you say I'm going to hit the gym, it means I'm going to go to the gym. Maybe I'm driving home and I decide that I want some coffee. And I ask my wife, I say, honey, would you like me to pick up some coffee? I'm gonna hit the coffee spot on the way home. That means I'm going to stop by the coffee shop before I come home. So we can use hit for a number of idioms as well. And please do be asking questions for our Q&A. I can't see any of them yet, so hopefully they're coming. Kimberly says he is going to study hard. Yes, that is correct. That is hitting the books. Felix says hit the book could be to obtain the best information. Yes, Felix. Obtaining that information, studying, that is correct.
Oh, hey. Thank you for taking the time to interview with me. Okay, so I guess I'll tell you about myself. Okay, so you should hire me because I'm a real go-getter. And I work very hard. I'm also a jack of all trades. So you can give me any job, I'll do them all. How do I blow off steam? Well, once in a blue moon, I like to drink a beer. Oh, no, I'm not a party animal or anything. I like to drink a beer or two once in a blue moon. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for the interview.
Hey man, thanks for this opportunity to interview. Well, I guess I'm pretty laid back, you know? I just like to go with the flow. Work? Sure, I'll work. I don't know a lot about work, but I'm pretty open minded. How do I blow off steam? Well, I'm pretty easygoing, so I don't have a lot of steam to blow off. Friends? Well, I'm kind of a lone wolf, but every once in a blue moon, I like to grab a beer with my friend Bob. Whoa, man.
If this video is helpful, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. The first idiom you heard was go-getter. A go-getter is someone who works very hard to get what they want. They do not hesitate. They will take any steps they need to achieve their goals.
You should hire me because I'm a real go-getter and I work very hard.
A go-getter goes and gets things done. This person is not passive. This person is active and working hard to get what he or she wants in life. The second idiom you heard was jack of all trades. A jack of all trades is someone who can do a lot of different things, someone who is skilled in a lot of different things.
I'm also a jack of all trades, so you can give me any job, I'll do them all.
This idiom is often used in conjunction with a jack of all trades, but a master of none. This is more of an insult, saying that someone who has a wide array of skills might not actually be very good at any of them. The third idiom you heard was blow off steam. This one is actually a verb phrase. You can use blow off steam to tell someone how you relax, or to explain how someone relaxes.
How do I blow off steam?
The idea comes from a buildup of frustration or any other stress or negative feelings or emotions. In this idiom, we think of those things as steam, and you can imagine maybe you're making tea. If you boil the water long enough, the steam builds up and wants to escape. It wants to blow off. So this is why we say we blow off steam. The next idiom you heard was once in a blue moon. You can obviously use this one to describe your habit or some person's habit. As you may know, a blue moon is not a moon that occurs regularly or very often.
I like to drink a beer or two once in a blue moon.
When we say that something happens once in a blue moon, it means it does not happen often, and it does not happen at set times. For example, if you go camping every year, you can't say you go camping once in a blue moon because you know when you will go camping, at least once each year. But if you go camping and then 4 months later you go camping, and then 3 years later you go camping, but you don't have plans, you can tell someone, oh, I go camping once in a blue moon. It happens, but not regularly and not often. The next idiom you heard was party animal. A party animal is someone who loves to party. probably too much.
Oh, no. I'm not a party animal or anything.
Party animals are not focused on improving themselves or achieving goals per se. Party animals are focused on partying. You also heard the idioms laid back and easygoing. I am putting these two together because they are synonyms. They are very similar. Someone who is laid back or easygoing is generally easy to get along with or to talk with.
Well, I guess I'm pretty laid back, you know? I'm pretty easygoing, so I don't have a lot of steam to blow off.
This person does not get angry very easily. This person does not get annoyed very easily. This person probably is not confrontational. If you're going out to a restaurant with someone who is laid back and easygoing, that person is not likely to care what kind of restaurant you are going to. They will eat whatever. They're fine with it. You also heard go with the flow. This is a good verb phrase for laid back or easygoing.
I just like to go with the flow.
Someone who is laid back and easygoing goes with the flow. And when we talk about the flow, imagine a river flowing. Someone who is easygoing will not try to swim in the other direction. They will go with the flow of the river. A person who goes with the flow is not worried about controlling things. The philosophy behind going with the flow is that we cannot control what happens. The universe is guiding us somewhere. If we go with the flow, we will end up where we need to be. You also heard open-minded. Someone who is open-minded is willing to learn new things.
I don't know a lot about work, but I'm pretty open-minded.
If you are open-minded, your opinion of something can change. You are willing to change your opinion of things. We also use open-minded to describe someone who is accepting of many ideas or lifestyles. The last idiom you heard was lone wolf, and a lone wolf is simply someone who spends a lot of time alone on purpose.
Well, I'm kind of a lone wolf.
This kind of person usually prefers to be alone. So there you go. 10 idioms that you can use to describe a person. Now for practice, describe yourself or someone you know using one of the idioms. Write that in the comments below, along with any other questions you have for me. In this video, you will learn 10 other words for love. Listen for the synonyms in the skit, then I will teach you what they mean and how we use them. Robert teaches English.
Rock-a-bye, baby. Hello?
Hey, Bob. What are you up to?
Oh, hey, Sandy. I'm actually babysitting Ashley's son right now.
I don't think I know, Ashley, but I really love babies.
I don't usually care much for babies, but I really adore this baby boy.
That's really cool, Bob. I think it's really important to have affection in our lives.
I agree, Sandy. We need something to cherish. By the way, I cherish you too, Sandy.
Oh, Bob, thanks, man. That's nice. I admire you as a person, and I cherish our friendship.
I'm glad you feel that way. But Sandy, for me, I feel like it's more than just respect. When you're away, I yearn for you with passion.
Oh man, I don't know what to say. Are you sure it's not just infatuation?
Oh, I don't know, Sandy. Maybe. I just know that I'm crazy about you.
Wow, Bob. You know, I am just very attractive. Are you sure you're not just letting lust control you? Don't put me on a pedestal.
Don't worry, Sandy. I don't worship you or anything. Let's just say that I'm very, very fond of you. I'm sorry if that makes you uncomfortable.
Okay, sorry. I've gotta go now. Enjoy babysitting.
Hello? It's okay, baby boy.
Since love is both a verb and a noun, you heard synonyms that were also both verbs and nouns. Let's start with the verbs. Admire. When we admire someone, we like and respect them because of who they are and what they do.
I admire you as a person.
It is common to admire someone based on their skills, talents, or other attributes. I really admire my wife because she's able to knit and crochet cool things like this blanket or these decorations. Adore. When we adore someone, it can mean that we love and admire them very much.
I really adore this baby boy.
When we adore a baby or a pet, it is enjoyable just to think about how much we love them, or sometimes just to look at them because we think they are adorable. There is something innately lovable about them, and we cannot help but love them. When we adore an adult, all of those things are also true, but we probably adore them because of their character, because of their actions, because of who they are as well. I adore my students because they work so hard to learn English, for example. Cherish. When we cherish someone, we regard them with high value. That means we believe they are important and valuable, and we will do whatever we can to make sure they are okay or keep them safe.
We need something to cherish.
We can also cherish objects or even abstract ideas. I cherish this guitar because it was a gift from my mother. I also cherish the time that I'm able to spend with my friends and my family. Treasure. If we treasure someone, we also cherish them. These two are very close synonyms. If we treasure someone, we believe they are important and valuable, like treasure. We are always careful with people or things that we treasure, and we do our best to keep them from harm. Treasure and cherish are very good synonyms. A difference that I notice personally is if someone says they treasure something, I actually imagine a little treasure box full of gold and jewels in my mind, but that's just me. Worship. Worship is most commonly used to describe how we love or respect a god or gods in a religion. We can also worship a person. When we worship someone, we admire, love, and respect them in the same way someone might love and admire a god. It is often used to describe an unhealthy attraction or love.
Don't worry, Sandy. I don't worship you or anything.
In the clip, Bob reassures Sandy that he does not worship her. We can also worship objects or other abstract things. Jim cares way too much about his car. He worships it. He cares more about that car than he cares about his family. In contrast, it is positive and even expected to worship your god or gods in a religion. Yearn for. When we yearn for someone, we desire them and we want to be with them. Often, this is used when we cannot see a person or cannot be with a person. Imagine reaching out for something you want but cannot reach except for with your heart.
When you're away, I yearn for you.
When we say we yearn for a person, it is usually romantic, but not always. For example, a child might yearn for his parents if they are away traveling. We can also yearn for things, abstractions, or experiences. When we were in quarantine, I yearned for times when I could go out to coffee shops and restaurants and socialize and just talk with people. Now let's move into some nouns that act as synonyms for the noun love. Lust. Lust is a strong sexual desire. I like to think of lust as a sexual hunger.
Are you sure you're not just letting lust control you? Don't put me on a pedestal.
You will also notice that Sandy tells Bob not to put her on a pedestal. This is an idiom.
Bonus idiom.
When we put someone on a pedestal, we make them more important in our minds than they really are. We admire and maybe even worship them, and we don't have a good reason to do so. We can also use lust as a verb, often used with lust for or lust after. When William was a teenager, he often lusted after girls in movies, sometimes even cartoon girls. Affection. Affection is a gentle liking or fondness. It is what we might feel before love develops, and it can still remain at the same time as love.
I think it's really important to have affection in our lives.
Affection is used to describe innocent physical expressions of love. A good image for affection would be me petting my cat. I often show affection to my cat by petting her. Infatuation. I like to think of infatuation as false or fake love. It is an intense but fleeting feeling that we experience when meeting a new person or getting to know a new person who we really, really like. It is often fueled by a physical attraction or a sexual attraction. You could say it is fueled by lust. Infatuation is what I felt for most of my girlfriends when I was a young teenager. It is important to remember that even though physical or sexual attraction might spark infatuation, infatuation is a lot more than just physical or sexual attraction. When you are infatuated with someone, you may believe you are in love with them or want to be with them forever. Infatuation can be an overwhelming feeling of admiration or adoration. If we feel infatuated with someone, we worship that person, we treasure that person, but it is based on a chemical state in our brains that will not last.
Are you sure it's not just infatuation?
Oh, I don't know, Sandy. Maybe. I just know that I'm crazy about you.
You will notice that Bob is not sure if he's feeling infatuation. All he knows is that he is crazy about Sandy. This is an idiom.
It's an idiom.
When we are crazy about someone, we like or admire them very, very much. Passion. When we use passion as a synonym for love, I like to think of it as a healthy version of lust. While lust is a purely sexual attraction that doesn't have any romantic connection or admiration or respect, passion is a sexual attraction combined with deep respect and admiration. At least that's the way I think about it.
When you're away, I yearn for you with passion.
In the clip, Bob actually just uses passion as a synonym for strong feeling. This is another use of the word passion. In fact, we can use the adjective passionate to modify any feeling to make it stronger. A passionate love, a passionate hunger, even a passionate hate. We can also talk about things that we are passionate about. These are the things that we really love or really love to do. These are the things in our lives that we think make our lives worth living, the things that truly make us happy. So there you go. Those are 10 other words for love. Now, for practice, answer this question. Who or what do you love? Answer in the comments below using one of the synonyms you learned. What are some other words for said? In this video, I will teach you 10 of the most common words we use. Robert teaches English. In the following skit, you will hear 10 other words for said. Then I will explain what they mean and how we use them in English. Bob was sitting in his chair, thinking.
Something is wrong.
He stated. He picked up his phone and dialed his friend Sandy.
I feel like something is wrong.
He explained.
Are you sick?
She inquired.
No, I just feel like something isn't right.
Bob replied.
Maybe you should change something.
Sandy suggested.
Maybe I will. Thanks, Sandy.
And with that, Bob hung up the phone. He sat, thinking for a while. Then suddenly he blurted out.
I know what's wrong.
He ran to the bathroom sink and looked at himself in the mirror.
My beard looks hideous.
He exclaimed, and then he declared to himself.
I will comb my beard and make things right.
True to his word, Bob began combing and brushing his beard until it no longer looked terrible. When he was finished, he looked back at his reflection and told himself,
Everything is okay now.
Feeling like a new man, Bob stepped outside and announced to the world,
I combed and brushed my beard, and everything is okay now.
and indeed, everything was okay. Our first word is tell. When we tell, we usually give new information. He looked back at his reflection and told himself,
Everything is okay now.
like said, tell can be followed by a clause. For example, he told me he was sad. Unlike said, tell requires an object. If we used said, we could simply say, he said he was sad. We don't have to include who he said it to. Word number 2 is explain. When we explain something, we help someone understand something.
I feel like something is wrong.
He explained. I am explaining the word explain right now. We often use explain with a noun phrase. For example, she explained her plan. We can also use explain with that and a clause. She explained that she doesn't love me. Number 3 is announce. When we announce something, we share information, but it's usually official or important information. Bob stepped outside and announced to the world,
I combed and brushed my beard, and everything is okay now.
and we usually share it with a group or even a large group. Just like explain, we can use announce with a noun phrase. For example, my father announced his retirement. We can also use it with that and a clause. Barbara announced that she will only eat bananas for the next year. Wow, Barbara. Word number 4 is declare. Similar to announce, when we declare something, it is usually something important or something official. And then he declared to himself,
I will comb my beard and make things right.
common things that we declare include winners of contests or sporting events. It is also common to declare alerts. For example, the president declared a state of emergency. I would say the most common use of declare is followed by a noun phrase.
Leonardo declared his love for me today.
All of these noun phrases I'm talking about are objects in these sentences, by the way. Word number 5 is exclaim.
My beard looks hideous.
He exclaimed. When we exclaim something, it means we say it a little suddenly, and maybe people don't expect it. It is also hard to imagine someone exclaiming something quietly. When we exclaim something, we say it loud enough for people around to hear. It is also common to share new information or news when we exclaim. Exclaim is most often used as a dialogue tag in writing. So be careful about trying to use this one when you are speaking. We are moving on to the next word now, I exclaimed. Number 6 is blurt out. Blurt out is a word that I think is fun to use. Then suddenly he blurted out.
I know what's wrong.
Blurt out is similar to exclaim because it is sudden and people do not expect it. There is more of an emphasis on the surprise of what is said. When we blurt something out, It's almost as if we can't control ourselves. It is common to blurt out opinions that are not popular, or to blurt out other things that maybe we should not say. For example, John just blurted out the answer in the middle of the test. Blurt out is also a separable verb, so we can separate blurt and out. You might change the sentence to, John blurted the answer out. If your close friend tells you a secret, don't just blurt it out in front of everyone. That would be wrong. Word number 7 is state. State is very similar to say, but it is a bit more formal.
Something is wrong,
He stated. When we state something, we make a statement. You may have heard of politicians or other important people making press statements when they speak formally to news stations and other forms of press. A common phrase we use with state is state the obvious or stating the obvious. When we state the obvious, we say something that everyone already knows and does not need to be said. For example, if you are in class and your teacher is screaming at everyone, your classmate might say,
The teacher is really angry right now.
You could respond, yeah, way to state the obvious. Word number 8 is inquire.
Are you sick?
She inquired. Inquire is a synonym of ask, and it is almost interchangeable with ask in a lot of situations. However, inquire is much more formal. It is not used casually, and we usually inquire about things that need a bigger explanation. Unlike ask, we cannot inquire someone to do something. For example, you might ask your husband to make you dinner. You cannot inquire your husband to make you dinner. When we inquire, we often inquire about something. If I came to your home, I would probably inquire about your food situation. I would want to know what kind of food you have, and I would want to know if I could eat it because I love eating food. Number 9 is reply. When you reply, you respond or answer.
I just feel like something isn't right,
Bob replied. Reply is often used with the preposition to. For example, why did you not reply to my letter? I wrote that I loved you. Why? At the end of this video, I will ask you a question. Please reply in the comments below. Our 10th and final word is suggest. When we suggest, we say something that we think someone should do. We give a suggestion.
Maybe you should change something.
Sandy suggested. I suggest you like my video and subscribe to my channel. We often use you or we. I suggest we all stop biting each other. It is not good. Suggest is also used very commonly with a noun phrase when you're asking someone to suggest something. Could you suggest a good pizza restaurant? I eat pizza every day and I need to find a good pizza restaurant. So there you are. Those are 10 other words for say that native speakers use all the time.
Hey, Rupert. Oh, hey, Ashley. Hey, are you able to babysit my son tomorrow? I'm not able to because I have plans.
Why not? Aren't you capable of watching a child?
I am capable, but I'm not able to tomorrow.
What? What's the difference between able and capable?
Robert teaches English. The other day, one of my students asked me a great question. What is the difference between able and capable? These words are very similar, but I do find there are two main differences in the way that we use them. Capable tends to be used for hypothetical or future potential, while able tends to refer to something that is factual now, or that someone can physically do now. Secondly, capable tends to mean can do well, whereas able simply means can do. Let's start with the hypothetical ability of capable. If you are capable of something, it means you have the talent, the skill, or the mental capacity to do that thing.
I'm not able to because I have plans. I am busy tomorrow, Ashley, but I am capable of taking care of a child. So the next time you want me to babysit and I'm free, I can do it for you. Okay?
Okay, Rupert, you win this time. I'll call Bob. Love you, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye, Ashley.
Rupert is capable of babysitting. He has the skills and the mental capacity required to babysit. The problem is he is not able to babysit tomorrow because he is busy. He will not physically be there. We can look at the same babysitting scenario and switch capable and able.
Hello?
Hey, Bob. Are you able to babysit my son tomorrow?
Yeah, Ashley. I'm not doing anything tomorrow. I'm able to come over, but I'm not sure that I'm capable of watching a child.
Why not?
I never have before. I mean, what if I mess up? What do I say to him? What do I feed him? I just don't know if I'm capable, Ashley. I don't think I'm capable.
Okay, Bob. I guess I'll just stay home tomorrow. Bye.
In this case, Bob is able to babysit tomorrow. He has the time. He can go over there and do it. But he does not believe he is capable of taking care of a child. He does not think he has the skills or the talent or the mental capacity to babysit. So here's another example. I am able to eat this cat. I could cook it and I could eat it up. And I'm able to do that, but I'm not capable of eating this cat because I don't have the mental capacity to do that. I love this cat too much, and I couldn't bring myself to eat this cat. I don't think anybody could. You're too sweet, Minu. Thank you. Again, I have the physical abilities to eat my cat, but I'm not capable of doing that. It is also common to use capable to talk about future potential, while we use able to talk about things that already happened or that we can do already. For example, I am able to run 10 kilometers. This is something I can do. I can go out there right now and run 10 kilometers. I am able to do that. I am not able to run 50 kilometers right now. If I tried, I would fail. However, I think I am capable of running 50 kilometers. Given enough time and training, I believe I could do it. I believe I am capable. I have the mental capacity to train myself to that ability. Here's another example. I was able to reach 1,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. Do you believe that I am capable of reaching 1,000,000 subscribers? Which reminds me, if this is helpful, make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe, and with your help, maybe I am capable of reaching 1,000,000 subscribers. The second main way that we use capable versus able is to talk about someone who does something well. This person is capable. Or someone who can do something. They are able. So in this case, capable is a stronger word. If you wanted to hire someone for your business and their previous employer said,
He's an able worker.
this means he can do his job, but maybe he does not do it well. If the previous employer instead says,
Oh, she is a very capable worker.
the previous employer means that she can perform her job well. Think of it this way. Capable works well. Able works. So to summarize, we use capable to talk about hypothetical or future potential, and we use able to talk about things that can happen now or have happened already. We use capable to say someone does something well. We use able to say someone can do something. Keep in mind that these are my observations of how we tend to use these two words. These are not rules of how you must use these words. Language is always changing and evolving. That said, this should serve as a great guide in using these two words. Now, for practice, answer these two questions. First, what is something you are able to do that you are proud of? Second, what is something that you are not able to do yet, but you believe you are capable of doing? Happy is one of my favorite ways to feel, but it's not very descriptive. What are some other words for happy? How can we better express the kind of happiness we are feeling? In this video, I'm going to teach you just that. Robert teaches English. You're going to listen to a conversation between Bob and Sandy. They're going to use 10 other words for happy. And they're going to use words that native speakers actually use.
You seem pleased. What's going on?
So I just ordered us pizza, so I'm really excited.
What? Oh man, I am pumped.
Yeah, I'm stoked about it. I got a large spinach and mushroom,
And
breadsticks, and chicken wings, but that's it. Is that enough?
oh man, I would say I'm pretty satisfied with that order.
Good. I wanted to cheer you up. I know you lost your job recently.
Thanks, Sandy. You know, when I first lost my job, I wasn't thrilled. But now I'm kind of glad it happened.
Really? How come?
It's given me the time to focus on my cats.
Some cats really suck, but your cats seem really cheerful.
You know, Sandy, they really are. I'm content just hanging out with them all day.
Sweet. Kind of freaking out right now.
Is it because of the pizza?
Yup.
So, one of the first words you heard in that skit was excited. And I'm sure most of you know what excited is. When we are excited, we are happy about something that will happen in the near future.
I just ordered us pizza, so I'm really excited.
This is an energetic sort of happiness. I feel very excited when I get to make a new video for you guys. If you're feeling really excited, you could say, I'm pumped, or I'm stoked.
What? Oh man, I am pumped.
Yeah, I'm stoked about it.
Both of these terms are actually slang, so you might not find them in the dictionary you are using, but this is something that a lot of native speakers actually say. If you're feeling really excited, you can also use the word thrilled.
When I first lost my job, I wasn't thrilled.
With all of the variations of excited, just keep in mind that we usually don't say we are excited or thrilled or stoked just to explain how we are today. It's usually a reaction to something. In the video, they were stoked about the pizza. Finally, if you are really, really excited, you could say, I'm freaking out right now.
Kind of freaking out right now.
Be careful with this one because freaking out can also mean you are panicking, but if you use it in the right context with the right tone, you can say you are freaking out if you're really excited about something. For example, I'm freaking out right now. I met Mickey Mouse and he gave me ice cream. Glad is an official word. We use glad more often for things that already happened. We're glad about something.
But now I'm kind of glad it happened.
And glad is not slang. You will find this all over the dictionary. Well, I guess in one place in the dictionary. And glad is often used in conjunction with that. You can say, I'm glad that, oh, I'm glad that you are watching my video. I'm glad that we are best friends. Pleased is also similar to glad. It means you're happy about something.
You seem pleased.
We usually use pleased with the preposition with. For example, I'm really pleased with my new teacher, Robert. He's amazing. We can also use pleased with an infinitive. One common phrase you might already know is, I'm pleased to meet you, or pleased to meet you in short. This means that you are happy to be meeting this new person. It's a very sweet thing to say, if you mean it. You might also hear someone say, you seem pleased with yourself, or he seemed really pleased with himself. This means that someone is really proud, maybe a little bit too proud. The word cheerful means happy, except cheerful is more of a personality trait than a temporary state. So you might say, I'm happy today. But if you are cheerful, this means you are happy a lot of the time. It's part of who you are.
Some cats really suck, but your cats seem really cheerful.
Someone who is cheerful has a positive and optimistic outlook on life. When you say you are satisfied, it means you got what you needed.
Oh man, I would say I'm pretty satisfied with that order.
We often use this word after buying something. So maybe you just got a new phone. I could ask you, are you satisfied with your new phone? If you think that you got a good deal on it, if you paid a good price, and that it is working well, you are satisfied. You don't expect anything else from it. When we use satisfied, depending on the tone, It could mean we got what we needed, but not much more. For example, if you're eating out at a restaurant and the waiter comes by, maybe your soup is good, but it could be better, and they ask, "How's the meal?" You'd say, "Well, I'm satisfied." If you say it like that, the waiter is going to assume that it could have been better. But again, satisfied means you got what you needed. You don't need more, but maybe you want more, depending on your tone. Are you satisfied with that explanation? I really hope so. Our last word on the list today is content. And content is a synonym of satisfied. If you are content, you don't need anything else. You don't want anything else.
I'm content just hanging out with them all day.
Again, depending on the tone. Now, the difference between satisfied and content is when you are satisfied, you are usually satisfied with something. I'm satisfied with my meal. I'm satisfied with my purchase. But you can say that you are content in general. Someone who is feeling really good about his or her life might say, "I'm really content right now. I feel like my life is going exactly how I want it to." When you are content, you are not going to try to make things better. We sometimes talk about how being content can be dangerous if you want to accomplish things in your life, or if you want to make your life even better. You might actually use it as an insult. You might say something like, Bob is content just staying at home, drinking beer, and not working. And even though we do mean that Bob feels content, we're also implying that he shouldn't feel content, that he should be striving for more or trying to do more in his life. I will tell you personally that I'm not content. This is a new teaching channel, and I have a lot of work to do. So even though I might feel satisfied with a day's work, I'm not going to feel content. I'm going to know that there are things I can do to make these videos better and to make this channel better for you guys. Before you finish, I just wanted to give you some alternatives to answering the question, how are you? I know that most of the words I gave you don't work as responses to how are you. So if somebody asks you how you are and you want to express that you're very happy, you could simply say something like, "I'm great. I am wonderful. I'm excellent today. How are you?" They will know that you're very happy, even though these words are not direct synonyms of happy. So there you have it. Those are 10 other words for happy that native speakers actually use. One of you asked me, what is the difference between hear and listen? Robert teaches English. Both of these verbs mean to perceive something with your sense of hearing, with your ears, obviously. There's a small difference, but an important one. When you hear something, you are aware that it is happening, and your ear perceives it with your sense of hearing. That's all. Right now, I can hear some cars driving very loudly outside, but I am not listening to them because I'm trying to focus on speaking right now. And that is the difference. When we listen to something, we choose to hear it more than other things. We focus on it. This is why we use listen with the preposition to. You listen to something. Think about when you go to a place. To sort of sticks a little arrow pointing to a place. When you listen to something, you're sticking a little arrow at that thing with your sense of hearing. So you're listening to something. You are listening to me speaking right now. Maybe you are in your living room. Maybe you can hear some cars outside. Maybe you can hear someone in your family walking around in another room. Maybe you can hear the buzzing of a fan, but you are listening to me as I speak. So, just to review, when you hear something, you are aware of it and you can perceive it with your sense of hearing. When you listen to something, you choose to hear it more than anything else that you can hear. You focus on it. I hope that made sense.
Hey, son, you're really going to town on that food, huh?
Oh, gee, Dad. I guess you're right. Maybe I should put the brakes on.
Yes, perhaps you should. We wouldn't want you to choke to death now, would we?
Oh, Dad.
Oh, yes.
Say, Dad, do you have a minute?
Sure, son. What is it?
Well, gee, Dad, I guess a lot. I haven't been able to concentrate at school. I haven't been getting faster at typing. I haven't been painting and all. I just feel like I've hit a roadblock.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, son. What about that girl at school? Linda. How are things going with Linda?
Her name is Lisa, Dad.
Right, sorry. Lucy. How are things going with Lucy? Son?
So I think I missed the boat. The dance is this weekend and I didn't ask her. It's too late now.
How can you be so sure, son? You need to get in the driver's seat. Ask her tomorrow. There still may be time. Take her somewhere special, off the beaten path.
Oh gosh, Dad, I don't know. What if she's already going with someone else? How awkward would that be?
Well, we can cross that bridge when we come to it. In the meantime, there's no reason for you to jump ship just because you're nervous. I mean, heck, I was in the same boat as you once. Back in 1922, I was so scared I wouldn't even leave the house. I was terrified of the neighbor's dog, Old Brown Tooth. Yeah, Old Brown Tooth was a mean old dog. Used to pee my pants just thinking about him. Old Brown Tooth.
Dad?
Oh, sorry, son. I lost my train of thought there for a moment. The point is, you can do this. This might be just what you need to get around that roadblock you were telling me about.
Okay, thanks, Dad.
Sure thing, son.
So, is it alright if I borrow the car tomorrow so I can drive us somewhere special? Off the beaten path?
No, son. Absolutely not.
If you're a new viewer, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, please consider becoming a patron. If you sign up for monthly donations, you'll get exclusive access to posts, videos, and other perks. The first idiom you heard was going to town.
Hey, son, you're really going to town on that food, huh?
When we go to town on something, it means we do it very enthusiastically with a lot of energy, a lot of fervor, a lot of commitment. This can be used in reference to many things. In the skit, obviously, it was used in reference to eating, but if I were in a fight with this turtle and I was just really hitting it hard, you might say, Robert, you're really going to town on that turtle. Is that necessary? If you're really into a book and you're reading it every day for many hours, someone might come in and interrupt you and say,
Wow, you're really going to town on that book, huh?
Next you heard, put the brakes on.
Oh, gee, Dad. I guess you're right. Maybe I should put the brakes on.
Brakes, as you may know, are what slow us down. We press the brakes when we are driving in order to slow down. So if we put the brakes on, it simply means that we slow down in whatever it was we were doing. Again, in the skit, it obviously refers to eating. He was eating probably too quickly. Next up, you heard hit a roadblock.
I haven't been painting and all. I just feel like I've hit a roadblock.
You probably know that a road is what we drive on, and a roadblock is something that blocks the road. You'll usually see roadblocks if there's some construction or repairs going on in the road. And when we use the idiom, it means that something is stopping us from doing what we want to do. There's something that is preventing us from achieving something. If we feel like we hit a roadblock, perhaps it's just difficult to do the things that we want to do. The next one you heard was miss the boat.
So I think I missed the boat. The dance is this weekend and I didn't ask her.
And I used this in the beginning of the lesson as well. Don't worry, you didn't miss the boat. I'm just about to start. When we miss the boat, it simply means that we were too late for something. This idiom most often refers to missed opportunities. Next up is get in the driver's seat.
How can you be so sure, son? You need to get in the driver's seat.
If you think about the average car, you usually have 2 or 4 seats, and only one of those is the driver's seat. Whoever sits in the driver's seat drives the car. They are in control. So when we get in the driver's seat, it means that we take control of something. Instead of making excuses, the son needs to take control and ask Lisa to the dance. You also heard off the beaten path.
Take her somewhere special, off the beaten path.
This refers to places or even life choices that are different from the norm. They are unusual. They are not what most people do or where most people go. That's why they are off the beaten path. The beaten path is the path that has been beaten by many feet walking on it. Next up is cross that bridge when we come to it.
Well, we can cross that bridge when we come to it.
When we say this, we mean let's not worry about that now. Let's not think about that now. We will worry about it. We will think about it. We will solve it when it happens. This is usually referring to something that may not happen. It doesn't make sense to spend our time worrying about something unless we know it's going to happen. So we might as well just wait, and then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Next, you heard jump ship.
There's no reason for you to jump ship just because you're nervous.
Jump ship simply means to give up. This comes from the literal meaning of jumping off of a ship into the water, usually into the ocean, because you don't want to be on that ship anymore. Next, you heard in the same boat.
I was in the same boat as you once.
To say that you were in the same boat or that you are in the same boat means you were in the same situation. You understand what the other person is going through because you went through something similar, or you are going through something similar. If you ever come to the United States and you struggle speaking in English with the locals, you can know that I've been in the same boat. I actually lived in Thailand for 6 months, and it was very difficult for me to communicate because most of my neighbors didn't speak any English, so I had to learn some Thai. Finally is one of my favorites, and perhaps one that you've heard me use before, to lose one's train of thought, or I lost my train of thought.
Old brown tooth.
Dad?
Oh, sorry, son. I lost my train of thought there for a moment.
This means that we lose focus on what we were talking about, or we forgot what we were talking about and accidentally started maybe talking about something else. Think about a train on tracks. Creak, creak, creak. Think about a train on tracks, and it's going and it's on tracks, so it knows exactly where it's going, and then uh-oh, I don't even know where that train is anymore. I lost my train of thought. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Have you traveled on a train before? I mean, I remember I traveled on an Amtrak train one time, and there were these really weird hot dogs, and there was a man sitting in front of me with an extremely loud voice. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Were we talking about idioms? And there you are. Those are 10 idioms for travel and transportation. Now for practice, I want you to do your best to make a sentence in the comments below using one of these 10 idioms. Choose your favorite, choose whichever one connected with you, and write a complete sentence in the comments below using one of these idioms. I hope you're feeling lovey-dovey, because in this video, I will teach you 10 idioms about love. Robert teaches English. This video was actually a request from Haas, so thank you for the request, Haas. I hope you enjoy it. Listen for the idioms in the following skit, and then I will teach you how we use them. At the end of the lesson, I will test your knowledge with a quick quiz, so make sure to watch until the end of the video.
Hey, kid, what you reading?
Love in the time of cholera.
Sounds, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Say, kid, why are you looking so lovey-dovey? Do you have a crush on someone?
Oh, you could say that. And you could say she has a crush on me, too.
Oh boy, anyone I know?
Well, yeah, Uncle Albert. You're the one who set us up.
I don't remember setting you up with anyone. Was it a blind date?
Gee, not really. You told me to go over there and borrow some milk.
Oh, the neighbor. She's the one with those big, long, beautiful spider legs, right?
Could you please not?
Oh, sorry, kid, I'm being rude. I just really admire a long, hairy pair of spider legs. Oh, I tell you, kid, when I was your age...
Uncle Albert!
Right you are. Sorry. So, the neighbor, huh? I didn't know you two were an item.
Her name is Lorraine, Uncle Albert. And it is very new. We just hit it off when I went over there to borrow the milk.
Good for you, kid. So, you like this dame, Lorraine? You like her a lot?
Well, I don't know, Uncle Albert. I mean, at first I thought maybe it was just puppy love, but then the other day I was over there looking in the fridge for some cheese, and then all of a sudden she was there, whispering sweet nothings into my ear.
And after that, did you caress her long, beautiful... good job. Good for you, kid. It seems like you're really head over heels for this girl.
Gosh, I guess I am. I'm so glad that you fixed us up, Uncle Albert.
Heck, kid, I didn't know what I was doing when I sent you over there. Who knows? Maybe this girl could be your better half.
Maybe, Uncle Albert. Maybe.
The first idiom is lovey-dovey.
Say, kid, why are you looking so lovey-dovey?
To be lovey-dovey means to be very affectionate or romantic. In this example, rather than being lovey-dovey, the uncle says the boy looks lovey-dovey, as if he looks like he is thinking about romance or thinking about being affectionate with someone. Next up is have a crush on someone.
Do you have a crush on someone?
Oh, you could say that. And you could say she has a crush on me, too.
If we have a crush on someone, we have a small romantic interest in them. We like them. We might not know them very well yet, but we like what we know, even if it's just the way they look. The next idiom is to set someone up or to fix someone up.
Well, yeah, Uncle Albert. You're the one who set us up.
I don't remember setting you up with anyone.
I'm so glad that you fixed us up, Uncle Albert.
When we set two people up, we arrange for them to go on a date, or we get them to talk to each other with the hopes that they will form some sort of romantic relationship, with the hopes that they will like each other. Next up is blind date.
Was it a blind date?
When you go on a blind date, you go on a date with someone you have never met before. Sometimes you don't even know what the other person looks like, hence the use of blind. It is most common to go on a blind date if a friend sets you up. This way you're not going on a date with a complete stranger. The next idiom is an item.
So, the neighbor, huh? I didn't know you two were an item.
If two people are an item, it means they are dating or they are in some sort of romantic relationship. An item does not specify how serious the relationship is. It's common to use this as a question.
Are you two an item?
This can be a little less abrasive than saying, are you two in a relationship together? Next you heard hit it off.
We just hit it off when I went over there to borrow the milk.
When two people hit it off, it means they have a great time with each other when they first meet. They like each other, they have interests, they have a good time together on their first meeting. In the skit, this is used romantically, but we can also hit it off with new friends. It doesn't have to be romantic. The next idiom is puppy love.
Well, I don't know, Uncle Albert. I mean, at first I thought maybe it was just puppy love.
Puppy love means infatuation. Infatuation is the strong and often passionate affection that we feel at the beginning of a new romantic relationship. More specifically, puppy love refers to the strong, uncontrollable, and sometimes unreasonable attraction between two young lovers, hence the use of puppy. The next one is my favorite idiom on the list, to whisper sweet nothings.
Then the other day I was over there looking in the fridge for some cheese, and then all of a sudden she was there whispering sweet nothings into my ear.
When we whisper sweet nothings, we say romantic things to someone that are inspired by the passion that we feel in the moment. This could be anything really, from something as innocent as saying someone looks beautiful to whispering some more suggestive or erotic things.
You don't know what you do to me. There's never been anyone else but you. I want you to teach me how to fly.
Next up is head over heels.
It seems like you're really head over heels for this girl.
If you are head over heels for someone, you are very, very attracted to that person. You like that person very much. Head over heels is often combined with in love.
Oh, I'm head over heels in love.
The final idiom you heard was better half.
Who knows? Maybe this girl could be your better half.
Someone's better half is simply his or her romantic partner. This can be a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but it's most often used with spouses, with husbands and wives, because it implies a very deep connection. I think it's very sweet to refer to your husband or your wife as your better half because it implies that you are one soul bound together by love. Now, for some quick practice, see if you can answer these questions correctly. Number 1, what do you call a date with someone you haven't met before? What do you call a date with someone you haven't met before? I'll give you a second. A blind date. Very good. Number 2, fill in the blank with an idiom to ask two people if they're in a relationship. Are you two? That's right. Are you two an item? Number 3, if you are experiencing puppy love, it is more likely that you A, are head over heels, or B, have a crush on someone. And the answer is B. If you are experiencing puppy love, it's more likely that you just have a crush on someone. Number 4, true or false? If you hit it off with someone, that means they are now your better half. Is that true or false? Very good, it's false. If you hit it off with someone, you probably just met them, so you're not going to be their better half just yet. Number 5, true or false? Whispering sweet nothings is an example of acting lovey-dovey. True or false? Yes, that is true. Whispering sweet nothings is very romantic. It is very lovey-dovey. All right, last question. What is it called when you arrange for two people to go on a date together? What do you do when you arrange for two people to go on a date together? That's right, you fix them up or set them up. So how many of those did you get correct? Let me know in the comments. If you missed any of those, make sure to go back and review the ones that you missed. How can I memorize new vocabulary? So I have a couple tips for you. First things first, I would say write it down. If you encounter a new word, and when you encounter new words, hopefully you're encountering them while you're watching movies, or reading books, or hearing them from a friend. But once you encounter a new word, the first step is to write it down so that you can go back and figure out the definition later if you had trouble figuring it out from the context. And the next step after that is to use the word every day. And I want you to go out of your way to use that word every day. Find excuses to use that word every day. Let me give you an example. So, I also like to learn new words because even though I'm a native English speaker, there's tons and tons and tons of words that I don't know. And there was a period in my life where I was very actively trying to learn more advanced words, new vocabulary. And I remember when I first found the word dearth. A dearth of something means a lack of something. If there's a dearth, there's not that much. You don't have enough. And I was working at a restaurant at the time, so in order to memorize the definition of dearth, I would force myself to use it every day. So I'd go to work, and I'd go into the walk-in, and I'd say, are we low on anything? It looks like we're low on milk. We have a dearth of milk. So I would find excuses to bring it into my everyday vocabulary. Another fun one that I learned that I really enjoyed was pugnacious, which means ready and willing to fight. And I would lie. I would walk into work and I would look at the host and say, "I'm feeling pugnacious today," and then she would say, "What does that mean?" And I'd explain to her. So go out of your way to use those words every day until you memorize them. What else? Okay, this is very important. Don't try to memorize words that either A, you're not going to use, or B, you don't feel excited about these words. For example, the word like erudite is a fancy way of saying like well educated. That's one that I came across and I don't really like it. I'd rather just say well educated. So I'm not going to waste my time using that word every day. I might have not even pronounced it right just then because I don't like that word. So I'm not going to waste my time on it. Last suggestion would be don't try to memorize too many words at once. I would say focus on a maximum of 1 to 2 words a day. And when I'm talking about this limit of 1 to 2 words per day, I don't mean common everyday verbs and nouns like sleep, eat, go, or any really common nouns, things you'd see around the house like couch, bed. Those words you can definitely fit more because you're going to be seeing them all the time, so you can really, really get the practice in, and you won't forget them because you encounter them all the time. But for the words that you're forcing yourself to say because you're not going to use them as much, I would limit that to 1 to 2 a day. So there's my answer for you, Noor.
Hi there, Bob. We're the Transformation Twins, and we're here to help you find your path.
Oh, hey guys.
Yeah, Bob, you got anything to drink around here?
Yeah, I got some coffee for you if you want.
Thanks. I'll go get some myself.
You don't have any questions or concerns? You were not curious about who we are, our size, where we came from?
No, I think I'm good. I've had my fair share of fantastical encounters. Well, actually, you say you're the Transformation Twins? You don't look anything like each other.
Oh, we're not identical twins. We're transformation twins. We transform into each other every Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate you trying to help. I have been unemployed for about a year now, and I do want to reinvent myself, but I don't know exactly how to do that.
Sounds like you want to transform into a new man. That's what we're all about.
She's right. We would love to help you reinvent yourself. And when we're through with you, you'll emerge a better you.
For starters, we need to expand your horizons. What if this new version of you can fly? Are you capable of flight? There's only one way to find out. We get you up in a tree like right now.
Now that is a good idea.
Oh, let's slow it down a bit. I think what my sister means to say is that if you want to change, you need to transcend who you used to be. What are some skills or talents you've always wanted to develop?
I do believe I have a natural talent for whistling. Now that is a skill I would like to develop.
You know who else has a natural talent for whistling? Birds! We gotta get you up in a tree like right now.
A good bird mentor would help me improve my whistling.
Oh, whistling is something. But I want you to thrive. I'm not sure that whistling well will get you there. What are some skills you've always wanted to strengthen?
Ooh, sunbathing.
Sunbathing?
Yes, Bob. If you really want to evolve into a new man, no, a new being, sunbathing is a great skill to improve. And you know what the most advanced version of sunbathing is? Photosynthesis. That's when plants use the sun for energy. We gotta get you up in a tree right
Yeah, let's get up there.
No, we're not going up in a tree.
We're not?
Do you want to progress in life? Do you want to grow?
I do.
And you want to flourish, right? Not just get by.
Yes, I would like to flourish.
Oh, then we need to adapt to the situation. We might even need to mature a bit. Now, let's think. What is the most valuable skill you have that you could develop?
Well, I do have a degree.
Okay, what's the degree?
My degree is in arboriculture.
You have to be kidding me.
What? What's arboriculture?
That would be the study of trees.
Okay, Bob, let's get you up in a tree.
Like right now.
Ay, ay, ay.
Okay.
How do we use prohibit in a sentence? In this video, I will teach you how. Robert teaches English. First, what does prohibit mean? When we prohibit something, that thing is not allowed. If we do that thing, we are breaking a rule, or sometimes even a law, and we might be punished. Some synonyms include ban or forbid. There are 4 main ways we use prohibit in sentences. 2 ways with prohibit the verb, and 2 ways with prohibited the adjective. Let's start with the 2 verb forms. The first form is subject, prohibit, object, from, activity. For example, I prohibit you from eating my pizza. In this form, the activity is usually a gerund or ing verb. The second form is simply subject, prohibit, activity. This is used for more general rules. For example, our school prohibits kissing. With this form, we can sometimes substitute the activity for an item or an object, usually something that we cannot bring somewhere. For example, the school prohibits cell phones. The school prohibits weapons. There are also 2 forms using prohibited, the participle adjective. The first form is activity to be verb prohibited. For example, kissing is prohibited. Hey! Eating my pizza is prohibited. We use this to also state general rules, but we don't know who prohibited the activity. Just like before, we can sometimes switch the activity with an object. Cell phones are prohibited. Weapons are prohibited. The second form is subject to be verb prohibited from activity. For example, you are prohibited from eating my pizza. Again, when we use the adjective form, we don't say who prohibited you from eating pizza. The students are prohibited from kissing. My son is prohibited from talking to me. He talks too loudly. Now, for practice, I want you to use all 4 forms in the comments below. Choose one statement and change it into the 4 forms. For example, sneezing is prohibited. You are prohibited from sneezing. We prohibit you from sneezing. We prohibit sneezing. Apparently, some of you would like to know the difference between obviously and apparently. So obviously, I'm going to teach you. Robert teaches English. Listen for obviously and apparently in the following skit, and then I will teach you how they differ.
Go on, tell me about your script, son.
I thought the studio wasn't interested.
Well, apparently they changed their minds.
Great! Well, the film is called The Cat.
And what's it about?
Obviously, it's about a cat.
Obviously.
But here's the twist. Apparently, the cat has a time machine.
The cat has a time machine?
Apparently, that's the word on the street.
Genius! Tell me more.
Well, a number of people want to go back in time for different reasons, so they're all trying to catch the feline.
Ooh, we can't use that word.
What word? Feline?
Yes, that one. Apparently it's offensive now.
Okay, well, everyone is trying to catch this cat.
Genius! Tell me more. Tell me about the love story.
Love story?
Well, obviously there's a love story.
I didn't include one.
You didn't include one? Apparently you're not as genius as I had thought.
Well, hold on. Let me finish.
Sorry, it's my son's school. I have to get this. Yes, hello. Yes, what did he do this time? Well, obviously that's not appropriate. Yes, I understand. All right, I'll come pick him up right away. Bye-bye. Sorry, Rupert, we'll have to continue later. Apparently, my son urinated in the elevator at his junior high school.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes, in the meantime, why don't you write that love story? I'm thinking one of them falls in love with the cat. Go ahead and write that.
I'll see what I can do. Thanks for your time.
If you're a new viewer, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, please consider becoming a patron. If you sign up for a monthly donation, you can gain access to exclusive posts, videos, and other perks. Let's start with obviously. So, obviously means very easily understood. So easily understood that pretty much anyone would be able to understand or know this thing.
The film is called The Cat.
And what's it about?
Obviously, it's about a cat.
Obviously.
Since the title of the movie is The Cat, it is obvious that the movie is about a cat. And obviously, the word obvious is the adjective form of obviously. And obviously, this cat is very beautiful. Hello, Minu! Yay! Of course, we can also use obviously just to mean that we believe or we think something is obvious, even if it's not obvious to everyone.
Tell me about the love story.
Love story?
Well, obviously there's a love story.
This can also be a fun way to show your strength in an opinion.
Which animal's better, cats or dogs?
Well, obviously, cats are better than dogs.
When we use obviously like this, we're using it hyperbolically. We don't really believe what we are saying. We don't really believe that it's obvious. We're just showing the strength in our opinion. We're being playful, having fun with the word. By the way, did you subscribe yet? I mean, obviously you're going to subscribe, right? Apparently, on the other hand, means according to evidence or according to new information. And we use it in 4 main ways. First, we can use apparently if we're not completely sure that something is true, but we heard it was true or we have some other reason to believe it is true.
But here's the twist. Apparently, the cat has a time machine.
The cat has a time machine.
Apparently, that's the word on the street.
Bonus idiom.
The idiom word on the street means the rumors or what people have been saying. We also use apparently when we know something is true, but we just learned the information.
Ooh, we can't use that word.
What word? Feline?
Yes, that one. Apparently it's offensive now.
Do you know how many languages are spoken in the world? I just looked it up. Apparently, there's around 6,500 languages. We can also use apparently to show confusion, disappointment, or even disbelief about something that we have recently learned.
Sorry, Rupert, we'll have to continue later. Apparently, my son urinated in the elevator at his junior high school.
Here's another example.
My wife won't let me into the kitchen anymore.
Really? Why?
Apparently, my food tastes awful.
Finally, we can use apparently to give good news. Usually, this is some sort of positive, unexpected change or surprise.
Go on, tell me about your script, son.
I thought the studio wasn't interested.
Well, apparently they changed their minds.
Here's another example.
Have you talked to Jessica?
No. Why?
Apparently, she wants to kiss you.
Really?
Now, for quick practice, listen to the first sentence and try to guess if the second sentence will use obviously or apparently.
Number 1.
I've got good news.
What is it?
Apparently, we're having pizza for dinner.
Number 2.
What was that announcement this morning?
Apparently, we're changing bedtime to 9 p.m.
Number 3.
Did you know that cats don't actually have 9 lives?
Yeah, obviously.
Number 4.
I have bad news.
What is it?
Apparently, we're not having pizza for dinner after all.
Number 5.
How do you think this turtle got here?
Well, obviously it didn't fly.
Number 6.
Who do you think is more attractive, you or me?
Well, obviously, I'm more attractive.
Finished.
Did you get all of those? If so, excellent work. If not, make sure to go back and review the video. And if there's anything you didn't understand, please leave me a comment and I'll see what I can do for you. What are some other words for happy? In this video, I will teach you 10 advanced synonyms for happy. Robert teaches English. In my last video, I taught you 10 synonyms for happy that native speakers use all the time. In this video, you will learn 10 words for happy that we don't use very often. Some of these are fancy words for all my fancy pants students out there. You know who you are. Some others just have very specific or seasonal uses. In the following skit, Robert and Reginald will use these 10 words, and afterwards, I will explain their meanings and how we use them. Dearest Reginald, 2 days ago, I found an old photo album. I opened it, and just then, the light of the moon shone upon a picture of you. I was elated to see your face after all these years.
You were always such a merry fellow, and your presence always left me contented. I will never forget the amazing massages you gave me. Oh, how blissful it felt to melt beneath your hands. I know it has been a long time, but I hope you have the time to write me back. I would be just tickled pink to receive your letter. Very truly yours, Robert. Robert, when I found your letter in the mail, I was ecstatic. I have not forgotten our times together, and how could I? Of all my old friends, you are the jolliest by far. Our long conversations over fine cheese were almost euphoric. We should do it again. I would love to see that jubilant smile upon your face once more. I propose you visit me on my houseboat. We can eat cheese and smell the ocean air. I would be over the moon to see you. Write back soon. With all my admiration, Reginald.
Welcome back. Our first word is elated. Elated is a participle adjective coming from the verb elate.
I was elated to see your face after all these years.
When you are elated, you are extremely happy, and you're extremely happy for a reason. Something elated you. Our second word is merry. If you are merry, you are cheerful and joyful and lively.
You were always such a merry fellow.
And you aren't just happy yourself, but you also exude and share that happiness with the world around you and the people around you. You will most often hear us use merry during the Christmas season when people who celebrate Christmas say, Merry Christmas. Merry is often used to describe elves, gnomes, and Santa Claus. So be careful when using it on anyone. Our third word is contented.
And your presence always left me contented.
If you watched the first video, I'll make a link for you up here. You learned the word content, which means you don't need or want anything. You are happy with what you have. You are happy with the way things are. So how is contented different? Well, just like elated, contented is a participle adjective, which means it comes from the verb to content. If you are contented, you are content because of something. So make sure you only use it if your happiness was caused by something. Our fourth word is blissful.
Oh, how blissful it felt to melt beneath your hands.
Blissful also means extremely happy. But when I think of blissful, it is often related to a physical feeling as well. You are so happy that you can feel it physically. It warms you. And if you're really blissful, it might actually alter your state of mind or alter your perceptions. You won't see the world in the normal way. Our fifth word, or I should say idiom, is tickled pink.
I would be just tickled pink to receive your letter.
I have never heard anyone else say tickled pink. Where did tickled pink come from? Well, imagine tickling someone. So when we tickle someone, we use our fingers on their skin, maybe on their ribs, maybe under their armpit or on their feet to make them laugh. So when you tickle someone, you give them this sort of uncontrollable, mischievous happiness. So this is the kind of happiness we are talking about. As far as the pink, you can see I have very pale white skin. If you tickled me enough, my skin would turn pink. So that's where you get tickled pink. It's a very fun idiom, so if you're willing to use it, have fun with it. Just don't expect most people to know what it means. You might actually have to teach them. Word number 6 is ecstatic. Ecstatic is my favorite word to use for excited.
Robert, when I found your letter in the mail, I was ecstatic.
In the last video, you learned about stoked and pumped. Ecstatic is a great replacement for those words. Originally, ecstatic comes from the word ecstasy, and it used to mean crazy or out of your mind with happiness. It was often used to describe outer body experiences. However, today, ecstatic simply means extremely happy and excited. Word number 7 is jolly. And jolly is very similar to merry. If you are jolly, you are merry and cheerful and joyful, and you share that joy. You share your happiness with the people around you.
Of all my old friends, you are the jolliest by far.
When I think of jolly, I think of someone giggling or laughing a lot. Someone who is jolly will often express their happiness with laughter.
Ho, 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 ho.
When should you use jolly? Well, most native speakers only use jolly to describe Santa Claus. But if you know someone who is jolly, describe them as jolly. Most people don't use it. I think it's an underused word. Word number 8 is euphoric.
Our long conversations over fine cheese were almost euphoric.
Euphoric is similar to blissful. It is an overwhelming happiness that we can feel. Euphoric, however, is so happy in almost a spiritual way or an otherworldly way. It is most often used to describe the happiness that people feel when they take certain substances or drugs. So be careful using this one. You don't want someone to think you're talking about getting high, but sometimes we do feel euphoric in natural circumstances. I know that a lot of religious people, for example, might feel a sense of euphoria, that's the noun for euphoric, when they pray or when they meditate and they feel a connection to the higher power that they believe in. I personally have had a lot of experiences where I feel euphoric just from being close with the people I love and having a really, really wonderful time. Word number 9 is jubilant.
I would love to see that jubilant smile upon your face once more.
Of all the words mentioned, jubilant is probably the one I use the least. I don't know if I've ever used it out loud. This is a word I would use in writing more than out loud. I would say the same for elated. I don't tend to say elated out loud, but that's just me. Jubilant is very similar to elated. It means extremely happy, and Honestly, you could probably use them interchangeably. Interchangeably means you can use either one in the same situation. The only difference that I perceive when I hear them is that I feel like jubilant is more appropriate for an accomplishment. So if you're extremely happy about something you accomplished, for example, you worked hard to get a master's degree. After you graduate and you are finished with all that work, you might feel jubilant. And our final 10th word of the day is over the moon. And obviously, this is an idiom, not a word, but what are you gonna do? I lied to you a little bit. I hope you can forgive me. Over the moon is an idiom that means extremely happy.
I would be over the moon to see you.
I don't really use this very often. If I do use this one, I'm trying to be dramatic. If you're already on YouTube, you can search over the moon and find a lot of examples of people using it in movies. And I've seen a lot of athletes using over the moon to describe their happiness after winning championships, for example. So this is certainly something you can use, even if a lot of Americans are not using it. As far as the meaning of over the moon and why we say over the moon is happy, I just imagine that you're so happy that you are lifted into the air, into space, and you go right over the moon with your happiness. So there you are. Those are 10 other words for happy that native speakers don't use very often. But they're fancy words, they're advanced words, they're fun words, and I implore you to use them. Have fun with them. Make a difference in the world with your mouth. You know. In fact, for practice, I want you to use one of these words right now. Tell me about a time that you felt euphoric. Tell me about something that made you over the moon with happiness. Tell me about someone in your life who you would describe as jolly or merry, along with any questions you have in the comments below.
What's wrong, Ashley? Are you sad? Yeah, I'm feeling sad, but it's more than just sad. What are some other words for sad?
Ooh, I know some really good words for sad. There's morose, woebegone, or down in the mouth.
Those are some fancy words, Natalie. Unfortunately, most people don't actually use them. How about I teach you 10 other words for sad that native speakers actually use?
Robert teaches English.
First, if you're feeling sad, then you are not feeling happy. So you could say you are unhappy.
Well, duh. I'm not just unhappy. I'm really upset.
There you go, Ashley. Upset is a good choice. Just be careful because upset can also mean that we are angry with someone. Some other words that mean sad but not really sad are down, gloomy, and bummed or bummed out. We often say that we are feeling down or gloomy if we are sad, but there's no specific reason to be sad. Maybe it's just a rainy or gloomy day, and we feel gloomy because of that. Or maybe we just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. If we say we are bummed out, we are more likely to be bummed out about something. Ashley, are you bummed out about something?
It's stronger than that. What are some words that mean, really sad?
Maybe she's depressed.
Depressed does mean very sad. However, I would avoid using it unless you are actually suffering from depression. This is an actual condition, and it means there's an imbalance in your brain, and you are sad because of that imbalance.
Yeah, I don't want to say I'm actually suffering from depression, but I do feel kind of hopeless.
That's a good one. When we are hopeless, we don't have any hope. We are sad about something that we do not believe we have the power to change.
The poor girl's miserable.
That is a very strong word for sad. When I think about miserable, I think about a sort of sadness that I feel bad for. It's almost an infectious sadness. Why are you so miserable, Ashley? Did something happen?
Yeah, my boyfriend broke up with me.
Oh no, you poor dear. You're heartbroken.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I feel like my heart has been ripped out of my chest. I'm heartbroken.
Oh, I'm so sorry, hon. You must be devastated.
That is an excellent word. Devastated means extremely sad, usually about something awful that happened. When I think of devastated, I think of a sadness so intense that you can feel it physically. We even use this word to describe things that have been destroyed or ruined. The feeling of devastation might even be the first feeling you experience before you fall into depression.
She's right here, Robert. Why don't you comfort her instead of talking to your students already?
Right. Sorry, Ashley. Let me just finish real quick. So there are 10 other words for sad that native speakers actually use. Now for practice, I want you to answer this question. Does rainy weather make you feel gloomy? Answer in the comments below. You know, you two look very similar.
What does similar mean?
Good question.
Robert teaches English.
When two things are similar, they're the same, but only in some ways. For example, you both have a beard, you have the same body, you have the same face. So you're similar in these ways, but you're not quite the same. Bob,
Yeah?
you are wearing glasses and a hat, for example. Rupert is not. Rupert, you are wearing a t-shirt, but Bob is wearing a hideous sweater. So you're not the same, you are similar. Bob, you also have a very low voice, but Rupert has a very high voice.
Yeah, I guess it is.
So you're not the same, but you are very similar.
Okay, I guess we're similar.
I guess we are similar.
You know, Natalie, some people say we look similar.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I would say you two are also pretty similar. So there you go. That's what similar means. The same in some ways, but not in all ways. Now for practice, I want you guys to see if you can answer this question. How are a bear and a snake similar? If you think you know the answer, write it in the comments below, along with any other questions you had for me. What does it mean for someone to give you the cold shoulder? Does it have something to do with feeding you meat? Or is that just someone feeding you lies? Let's start with the definition. To give someone the cold shoulder means to intentionally ignore them or to treat them in a way that lets them know you do not want to spend time with them or talk with them. For example, if you were texting a friend and he or she either did not respond or only responded with very short text, letting you know they don't really want to text you, that would be an example of giving the cold shoulder. But why do we use those words? What does ignoring someone have to do with a cold shoulder? And what does that have to do with serving you meat? If you do a quick internet search, you may find an explanation from Shakespearean times that goes something like this. The shoulder of an animal is very tough and not very pleasant to eat. If this cut of meat were cold, it would be even less desirable. So, if back in the day someone were to come to your home and you didn't want them there, you would serve them the cold shoulder of whatever animal you were eating for dinner that night. This would let them know they were no longer welcome and that they should leave. According to linguists, however, this is not true. It's a myth that somebody made up. The real appearance of the idiom doesn't show up until 1816 in Sir Walter Scott's The Antiquary. In this novel, the phrase is actually a mistranslation from a Latin phrase meaning to stubbornly turn your back on someone. So when we say turn the cold shoulder, we actually mean to turn your back on someone, which is literally what you do when you're ignoring a person. And as you may know, we use the word cold in English to also mean unfriendly. Has someone ever given you the cold shoulder? Let me know in the comments below. This is a conversation that I had with somebody a while back, and the reason that I'm bringing this up is because this isn't the only time this has happened. So I think I posted a video and my follower here said, "Congratulations, very sweet, thank you." So I said thanks because I appreciated that, but then my follower said, "Never mind." And I've seen this before, people using never mind after someone says thank you. And you'll see that I have a little sad face because never mind means forget what I said, I didn't mean it. I take back what I said. So essentially, when Alan Yazi said never mind, she was saying, never mind, I don't actually want to congratulate you. So I made a sad face because I was like, why, And I said, but why? Because I wasn't quite sure what was going on, but I saw other non-native speakers using this never mind, and I'm not sure where you guys are learning this from, but never mind is not a response to thank you. If someone says thank you, you can simply say, you're welcome, or no problem, something like this. But don't say never mind, because again, never mind means I take back what I said. I didn't mean it in the first place. And just to clarify, a good use of never mind would be something like, let's say I can't find my keys. So usually when I can't find something, I ask my wife if she knows where the thing is, because she just magically knows where things are. I don't know how, but she does. So I'd say, honey, I can't find my keys. So then I assume she's looking around, but then if I find the keys, I'd say, oh, never mind. I take back what I said because I did, in fact, find my keys. So that would be an appropriate use of never mind. But don't use it to respond to thank you. I was about 6 years old when my grandmother told me she was planning to grow her hair down to the bottom of her back. Apparently, my reaction was,
Oh, Grandma, you'll be dead before it gets that long.
About 4 years later, she did grow her hair down to the bottom of her back. And after reminding me what I had said, she told me that she was not dead. In fact, she was alive and kicking. Alive and kicking means you are alive and you are active or healthy. While the alive part is pretty straightforward, where does the kicking part come from? According to dictionary.com, this phrase was originally used by fishmongers, people who sell fish. They would use it to describe to their customers how fresh the fish were. The kicking part comes from fish still wiggling around and flapping their fins vigorously. We personify fish in this way, giving them the human attribute of kicking to describe these movements. We aren't sure quite how old this idiom is, but we do know that it appears in print as far back as 1801. It shows up in a travelogue called Farther Excursions of the Observant Pedestrian. The narrator is interviewing a crab boy, and the crab boy says that he left the crabs alive and kicking. Now, sadly, my grandmother is no longer with us. She passed away some years ago. What about your grandparents? Are they alive and kicking? Let me know in the comments below. What does beat around the bush mean? Why might we do it after breaking someone's vase? And what does it have to do with this terrifying wild boar? I'll stop beating around the bush and tell you what it means. When we beat around the bush, we avoid talking about the main point of a conversation. This is often something we are afraid to talk about. Let's say I come over to your house for dinner. I excuse myself to use the restroom, and while I'm washing my hands, I notice a beautiful vase of flowers on the counter. Carelessly, I knock it to the ground and break the vase. When I come back, I might beat around the bush a little bit. I might say,
Hey, so I like the decorations in your bathroom. The vase is a nice touch. Where'd you get that, by the way? Was it expensive?
At this point, you notice I look nervous. There's something else I want to say, so you reply,
Stop beating around the bush. What happened?
We might also beat around the bush before giving exciting news, especially if we know that you will also be excited about the news. Let's say that I bought you concert tickets to see your favorite band. I would want to build suspense before the big reveal, so I might beat around the bush a little bit.
So, who would you say your favorite band is? Yeah, that's what I thought. Just wanted to make sure. And would you say you really enjoy listening to their music?
You see where this is going. At some point, you might say,
Quit beating around the bush. What's going on?
in both of these examples, you tell me to stop beating around the bush. This is probably the most common way we use this term, but we also will tell you that we're not going to beat around the bush before giving some unfortunate news. This helps prepare the listener for the bad news.
I don't want to beat around the bush. I got fired today.
So now you know what beat around the bush means, but why do we use those words? What does it have to do with beating bushes or beating around bushes? And more importantly, what does it have to do with this terrifying wild boar? To answer these questions, we'll have to go back in time to the 1400s, where we first found the phrase in the written English language. As it turns out, this was a hunting term. According to Idiomation, medieval groups of hunters used to give young men the dangerous task of beating bushes to drive out animals during the hunt. While this might not be so dangerous if there were, say, a rabbit or a bird hiding in the bush, if something more menacing, something more deadly were hiding in the bush, say a terrifying wild boar, this was quite a dangerous task. So instead of directly beating the bush, the young men would indirectly beat around the bush, thus avoiding the danger that may lurk beneath the undergrowth. Just like I would be afraid of the consequences of breaking your expensive vase, the hunters were afraid of the consequences of driving out a wild boar or other deadly beast. What topic of conversation would cause you to beat around the bush? It's all Greek to me is a pretty straightforward idiom. It means I don't understand at all. We use it when we didn't understand something that we heard. It might as well have been spoken in Greek rather than in English, because we didn't get a single word of it.
Let A equal B. If A equals B, A squared equals B squared, which means A squared also equals AB, and A squared minus B squared equals AB minus B squared. Factor it out. A minus B times A plus B on the left side. On the right side, B times A minus B. What can we do? We cross out the A minus B on both sides, and we get A plus B equals B. A equals B, so B plus B equals B. Therefore, 2B equals 1B. Therefore, 2 equals 1.
Well, gosh, Professor, I'm sure you did a fine job explaining that, but I don't get it. That was all Greek to me.
Of course, if you are one of the 13 million people who speak Greek, this idiom won't really make sense. We're not quite sure how old this idiom is, but we know it's at least 400 years old because it appears in Shakespeare's play Julius Caesar. Did you understand that explanation, or was it all Greek to you? Let me know in the comments below, and if there's any other idiom that you'd like to learn more about, please let me know about that as well.